guys. Welcome to the first episode of Chief of Self. This is a solo podcast that I have been dreaming of starting ever since my other podcast that I had with my sister, Okay Sister, ended about a year ago, which is crazy that I've been off mic for 1 year, but they can't keep me away. I just love a podcast, or as I used to say, podcast. I'm so thrilled to be here. I am so thrilled that you have chosen to spend the next 25 minutes or so with me. Only solo, no guests. Me, you, and Mads just yapping away. All right. I feel like there was a white space in my content, and I'll kind of go through a little introduction of me. This episode is going to be a lot of getting to know me in case you don't know me. But I felt like there was a white space in my content, whether on Instagram or TikTok, where I do a lot of self-development work, and I'm also very silly, which that comes off. That is very clear on the internet. I embarrass myself quite a bit on these platforms, but there's a lot of behind the scenes, quieter work that I do, and I felt as though a solo podcast is such an incredible medium to untangle a lot of my thoughts about mindset shifts and happiness and emotional intelligence. And, I also am a founder, I'm a business owner, and I think that that's like the biggest test to your mental health. And so if you ever want to learn about your mental health, I say just like start a business and you'll be good to go. You'll learn about it pretty quick. I just don't feel as if I talk as much about that side of me on the internet. And so this weekly 25 minutes is just going to be, we're going to deep dive into specific topics, things that I've been pondering over, things that light me up, that I feel will inspire you, that hopefully you'll be able to glean value from. So I want you to think of this as a elongated voice note from one of your best friends, okay? I've also self-proclaimed that we're going to be calling ourselves the SELFIES. There really is not even a community yet, and I'm already determined that we're going to call ourselves the SELFIES. So there you go. But yeah, welcome to Chief of Self. The reason it's called Chief of Self, similar to Chief of, what even is a CEO? Chief Executive Officer. Guys, help. I am the CEO of Camber, and I legitimately did not remember what CEO stood for. So Chief of Self is a play on that. Just in case you needed me to like truly spell it out for you. You're a smart individual. You didn't need that. I don't really like the acronym COS, so we're not going to be using that, but we are going to be calling each other selfies. Just prepare for you to be called a selfie. And it's just that, again, weekly permission slip. I'm just going to talk at you. You can respond to me. That's great. That's encouraged. You might look a little crazy if you're out on a walk and you respond to me or start giggling, but who cares, okay? You're having fun and you're enjoying your life. That's what I always say. Anyways, so that is just a little intro into what you can expect, okay, on the pod. And I really, really want it to feel like a voice note. I want it also to feel like you're watching your favorite comfort creator on YouTube, okay? There's this casualness about it, just something that you plug in order to feel better about your life and about your day. And I hope that I can provide that to you. And look, all of this, as much as it is for you, it's also for me. So a lot of this is going to be me working through my own shit and what I've learned through books, through podcasts. I learn and absorb so much, but I don't internalize it and like share my opinion about it. Does that make sense? It's gonna over the next couple episodes. You'll see. There's gonna be some segments because it's a podcast and podcasts need segments. The first segment is gonna be called Things Worth Sharing. These are my recommendations, books, shows, mindset shifts, just things that are happening in my week that are worth sharing, if you will. So this week, I am And look, we're going to get into deep dive of like who I am, get to know me. But I just want to start off by saying like I'm addicted to Dancing with the Stars. It really is the only thing I think about all week. It is the highlight of my week. And I just want to be on the record and say that me and my camper co-founder, Lauren, have been Dancing with the Stars enthusiasts before all you bitches were, okay? I know it's so exciting to watch this season. Everyone's so into it. We were there first, okay? I just don't want anyone to forget it. We were there first. That being said, would love to have you join us in the Dancing with the Stars fan club. Okay, so please come on in. I'm sorry if I scared you for a minute, but I just want to lay the groundwork. Dancing with the Stars is one of my favorite TV shows. It's the best time of year. People say like Christmas is the best time of year. I think Dancing with the Stars is the best time of year. Not only because of course, the dancing, but the lore of all the pros. And we just fangirl over the pros. And if you don't know about they are all like incestuous and either dating each other, fucking each other, divorcing each other, marrying each other, having kids together. It is so nuts. And all the backstory behind the context below the actual show, like that is where the meat and potatoes comes from. So things we're sharing, if you haven't jumped on the Dancing with the Stars bandwagon, it is just such a delight. And it's also so fun to have something to look forward to every week. Another little thing that I do quite often that is something I started on my wedding body journey, which I have a lot of thoughts about that. So that'll be a whole other episode. But I started jumping on a little trampoline. At first, Ben was like, oh no, you can't do that because majority of adult bones breaking incidents come from jumping on trampolines. I was like, how many adults are jumping on trampolines? Well, this one is. I got a little rebounder. The reason I got it is because I heard that it helps with lymphatic drainage. It wiggles out any shit, like any stagnant energy, just anything that you're holding on to when just 3 minutes jumping on that trampoline. I started listening to Opalite by Taylor Swift on the trampoline. Transcendent experience. Otherworldly. Like that song is meant to be experienced jumping on a trampoline. So much joy. The inner child is being healed. I implore all of you to purchase a little mini trampoline. Put it in your living room. Put it outside if you have a little outdoor area because it's nice with the fresh air and whatnot. Wow, it's better than caffeine, I promise you. Just go on that thing at 3 p.m. when you have the slump, listen to Opalite, and get back to me, okay? Get back to me with your thoughts because I promise that it'll probably cure a lot of your ailments. All right, now let's get into the get to know me. I asked you guys on my Instagram AMA to ask me some questions and to get very juicy. These were not that juicy, but there is a couple that are kind of juicy, but this is just going to scratch the surface. We'll get to know each other as the weeks go on, but I thought this would be a nice way to kind of break the ice, if you will. So one question is, what's something people always assume about you that's not true? People assume that I'm an extrovert. It's because I'm loud and because I'm bold and I probably take up a lot of space and I'm very friendly and outgoing. Sure. I am the poster child for being an ambivert, which is the person in the middle. I do love social settings. Sometimes it has to be the right social setting. For instance, if I go on a walk with a fellow female founder or I'm connecting with another content creator that just it clicks with us. She gets me. She understands exactly what I'm going through and we could talk for hours and there won't be a lull. That energizes me like no other. So being that one-on-one connection with someone and really extracting value, that's my extrovertedness. I love being alone. People don't know this about me. I could be alone for a week and be fine, okay? I am able to entertain myself. I am able to sit with my thoughts. I love to sit and read for 4 hours straight. Like I am such a homebody. I love being alone. In that regard, I'm definitely introverted. So that's why I say I'm an ambivert, because I'm so equal of those parts, if that makes sense. Okay. Does reading smut help your sex life? Yes. Next question. Just kidding. I will expand on that. So the reason I say yes is because of a concept that I learned from this book called Come As You Are, which if you are looking to learn about female sexuality, I recommend this book. Now, there are two types of desire: spontaneous and responsive desire. Most men fall into the spontaneous desire, so they're just horny all the time, want to have sex all the time. It's just always on the mind. Responsive desire is when you get horny based off a trigger, right? So for me, it made a lot of sense to understand that framework, because I was so confused why I just didn't want to have sex all the time, and I thought there was something wrong with me. I just kind of got in my head about it. But I noticed, rightfully so, when I read smut, that's the responsive desire kicking in, right? So I read something, I start to imagine it, and then it leads to sexual relations. So yes, smut definitely helps my sex life. I honestly, when I'm not reading smut, because I get a little smutted out sometimes, I find that I'm just not as horny because I don't have that responsive trigger, right? So honestly, it's when I'm reading smut, even if it's corny, even if it is such bad writing, I know I'm investing in my sex life. So I see it as a positive all across the board. That's why I love romance novels. I will be recommending plenty of romance novels on this podcast, so don't you worry. That is I only read two types of books: romance novels and self-help books. Okay. So there's really no in between. You won't catch me reading historical fiction like my sister, or poetry. Okay. I want to turn off my brain in a way where binging reality TV could be the same sensation. But for me, again, reading smut really does qualify for me as an investment in my sex life. So there you have it. Okay, are you taking Ben June's last name? So I did get married 3 months ago. I'm such a bride. I don't know if you heard, but it's been 3 months, and this is a common question. Are you taking his last name? So at the current moment, I am not. And a couple things factored into this. One, I just feel it's unfair to completely remove that part of my identity. Maddie Mayo is my name. If anything, I will change my name when I have kids, but I will still go by Maddie Mayo professionally or online, because I do think I've created a brand out of this name, and it's such a firsty lasty, and I just love my name, and I love what it represents, and I love that it reminds me of my childhood and my family as well. And so I never wanted to lose that. But I definitely will change it when I have kids. I hear that it's such a shit show of a process to change later on, so I'm not looking forward to that, because you have to go to court and stuff, which can you imagine me in court? No. What's your most unpopular opinion that you'll die on a hill for? So this was one of the most controversial TikToks I've ever posted. People who do not wear underwear while they work out are sociopaths. What are you doing? This has been the biggest controversy, and I get into the biggest fights with people. Kind of related, I also think thongs are the only type of underwear people should be wearing. Sue me. I only wear thongs. People think I'm crazy. If I'm wearing thongs with jeans, I'm no, I only own thongs. I think they're so comfortable. You kind of feel like you're commando, but you're not. So it's kind of best of both worlds. People are very spirited when it comes to wearing underwear while working out or not. To me, and this is probably going to be TMI, but that's what this podcast is going to be about. So just buckle up. When I'm lunging and I don't have underwear on and I'm sweaty, there's something it's just a separation. It just Like I just feel like this separation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe you don't understand what I'm saying, but you just need to have underwear on is the moral of the story. Okay, next question. When do you feel the most like yourself? I feel as though I have been reflecting a lot on this. The concept of what do you actually like? Your authenticity. What does authentic to you even mean? How I want to spend free time or even just all my time. Like, what do I want to feel like my highest self at all times of the day. Okay, we're trying to get to like 90% highest self energy. Most days that is not the case, but that is always what I'm striving for, right? And when do I feel most like myself is kind of like when I feel like my highest self. So as I was reflecting on this question, I remembered a TikTok I saw. It's this girl's account called JC's Diary, JAYCIES Diary, and she has this series called Claiming My Life Back. She's basically doing things off her phone, like she does painting by numbers. And, you know, I always admire Kenzie Elizabeth with her needlepoint. I even texted her the other day. I was like, yo, it's about time I start needlepointing. Like that is in my near future. What do I need to do? Like, give me the masterclass. So my version of that is reading for huge chunks of time. I'm talking like my favorite thing to do when I feel like my highest self is waking up without an alarm on a Saturday, no plans, and just not even checking my phone, nothing, going and sitting on my couch and reading for 4 hours straight. Like seriously, no breaks, maybe pee, but I pee like with the book. Like that is just where I feel more like most connected, most myself. I love to play Rummikub. Like those are my like little hobby-y things, like my highest self. And I think the reason I love the chunk of time and the block of time is my highest self has freedom of time. So when I slow down, when I take my time, when I'm on no one else's schedule, that feels like my highest self. So being able to tap into those little rituals or things where, you know, I might not be my highest self all the time, but this activity makes me feel that way. So identifying what those are for you and just kind of sprinkling them in whenever you can. And don't only reserve it for the weekend. Like I will make sure to maybe stop working at like 5 or 6 on a weekday and just binge read for the rest of the evening, right? So like that's my alternative. Another area where I feel most myself is when I'm going on little weekender trips. So a big part of my highest self and my desires for this world is I love to travel, but I'm not a big trip girl. Like international, like yes, of course I love an international trip. I love Europe. I love all that. But to me, those seem very few and far between, right? They're very rare. They're very fleeting. You typically go on once a year. And to me, I want to feel that energy of a trip, of a vacation, of exploration, of discovery all the time. So I'm fortunate to live in California where there are so many little getaways and mini weekenders at our disposal right around Los Angeles. So my favorite thing and the way that I feel like my highest self is having those little escapes and those retreats to Laguna Beach, Santa Barbara, Palm Springs, Ojai, Santa Ynez. I go up to Carmel. Me and Benjun go to Carmel and Big Sur every Christmas. And these, they light up my soul like no other. And I feel so much more invigorated by the content that I post there. I post these little like itineraries, 48 hours in Lake Arrowhead, whatever the case may be. And I just glean so much joy from making those videos and sharing my recommendations. And I do so much research to make sure the trip is exactly to my liking. So when I'm on it, I truly am embellished in my highest self. So I love trying out new restaurants, coffee shops. I made a whole job out of it. It's called Camber. Look it up. I literally made a company so that I could do this all the time. So I really do tap into my highest self quite a bit, which I feel fortunate in. But I've designed my life that way, right? Another thing that kind of ties into this is the concept of a derive. Okay, I hope I'm saying that. I did take AP French. Okay, so I do know a thing or two about the French language, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I heard about this concept first from a sociologist that was sociologist that was on Hot Smart Rich, the podcast. You'll know that I reference a lot of podcasts because I am constantly listening to podcasts, and I'm happy to do a whole breakdown of my favorite ones and maybe like most impactful episodes if that's something that you guys would be interested in. That'd be a very meta podcast, if you will. But there is this concept. It's a French concept meaning an aimless walk through city streets that follows the whim of the moment. Oh, I did this in Seattle and I didn't even know I was doing a derive, but I was. There's something about going to a new city, it can be a new neighborhood in your town, and just wandering, just like aimlessly wandering, no agenda, just walking into shops, walking into coffee shops, just finding hidden gems and treasures that lights up my soul. And it is so good for the little brain up here to just let yourself wander. Sometimes I raw dog the walks, okay? We're doing like no headphones situation, no phones. But other times I love to listen to some music that inspires me or activates me. I listen to Activations, which is Mimi Bouchard's app that I am utterly obsessed with. If you don't know about it, I can also talk another episode on that. But that has completely changed a lot of my walks these days, is listening to these activations. They are basically these audios that instantly get you into your highest self energy and just get you into a different vibration. I really can't explain it unless you've like experienced it yourself. I pay for it by myself. This is like not sponsored. I just think it's an incredible app. All right. And then other things like wearing oversized, neutral, comfortable clothing. It's like 80 degrees outside. I'm still wearing like a full wool sweater right now and I am schwitzing, but that's like not my problem. Like I just love to be in sweaters. I love to be comfortable. I feel like my highest self when I have a spray tan and a blowout. Okay. What did you do before Camber and what made you start? How was the leap? So I definitely need to do a whole separate podcast about this, and I'm sure I've documented it many a time on OK Sister podcast, but I graduated from USC in 2016 and I was extremely lost. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I kind of fell serendipitously into the tech space. I worked at several smaller tech startups in Los Angeles that were servicing industries that were doing things like antiquatedly, and they used technology to kind of streamline their processes. So for instance, I worked at like a fashion tech startup that helped with streamlining wholesale sales and orders. And then I worked at an interior design tech startup that matched interior designers with clients. I worked at an AI startup. So it was kind of just all over the place. Honestly, I was pretty much flailing. I had started OK Sister podcast with my sister, I want to say like 2017, 2018. And that was the first time I had really built something from the ground up. It was the first time I had put myself out there. I had done something for myself and I kind of got the bug that way. OK Sister was a business, but I don't know. I just always felt like I was destined for more. I was destined to create something of my own. And, Lauren was actually my first boss at that fashion tech startup, which is so funny. She was my first boss out of college. She hired me for my first job and we remained friends for so long. And then after we both left that job, we remained friends and kept having this idea for Camber, and we came back together to do it. And I was doing it on the side for quite a bit, and maybe like a year or two while we were building behind the scenes. And we came at like to a crossroads. I think it was 2021, and I wanted to leave my previous job. I had actually gotten a job at Chamberlain Coffee. I was offered the job of like a social media manager, and I went to Lauren. I said, hey, if I take this job, like Camber will no longer exist because I will be full-time on this job. I can't do both. And we just came to the realization and decision. And I said, I'm doing it full time. I'm going to camper full time. Honestly, when I think about that leap, it was so natural. It wasn't this huge risk and scary moment. Like, yes, of course, it was scary in some respects, but I didn't feel as though if it failed that I would have failed or that I wouldn't be okay. Like, I would just get another job, Like, people place such high value. Like, yes, if you go out on your own and do it and it doesn't work out, okay, you can get a job, I didn't really think that way. I just thought, let's fucking go. Let's do it. And I went full time. It's been 4 years. Woohoo! It's been a wild ride of a 4-year term, but yeah, I that's how I took the leap, and I think it just felt so natural. I knew it was what I needed to do, and my life would have been so different. And now it's so funny because we work with Chamberlain Coffee for Canva quite a bit, so it all really came full circle. Okay, that was the first episode of Chief of Self. Wow, I feel so giddy about this. This is my highest self, just so you guys know. This is the version of myself that I want to put out to you all, that I want to gift to you all. I hope that this was a delightful listen, and I hope you come back week over week. It's going to be such a joyous time, and I hope you gleaned some value from it. And a closing note, I'm always going to leave you with like a short takeaway, an affirmation, or a challenge for the week. This is a quote. I'm a very big like little sayings girly, so I have like a whole note on my notes app of little sayings. And this one of my content creator friends actually shared with me. Her name is Bridget Campbell. She's incredible. And she said, to be cringe is to be free. Oh, why I love this so specifically and how it relates to this week is we have a new Taylor Swift album, okay? Life of a Showgirl. Now, I've just been hearing rumblings across the internet, rumblings in the group chat. I also said this. A lot of the lyrics are kind of cringy, which is fine. Girl boss too close to the sun. I'm not a bad bitch. This is not savage. Okay. That being said, I reminded myself that to be cringe is to be free, because you are uninhibited by what people think about you. You do not give a shit, right? You are your true authentic self when you are cringe, and embracing that cringe, because that is how you have total freedom and authenticity. And Taylor motherfucking Swift, she knows how to lean into that cringe. And the thing is, she normalizes cringe. Does that make sense? So now that I've listened to the album over and over and over again, the cringe out the window. Like, it's not even cringy anymore to me. It's stuck in my brain like an earworm, and I sing it proudly and with like my whole chest, because to be cringe is to be free. So love you all. Have the best rest of your week. And thank you so much for listening. And of course, if you want, you could subscribe on YouTube. And you could also hit us a little follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the things. We have an Instagram as well, Chief of Self Podcast. And I am so excited to see you all next time. Bye.